Hi, I'm Ben Wojdyla, and on this episode of Saturday Mechanic, we're going to answer one of the questions you sent in. Hi, I'm Ben, and this over here is Russ. What's your name?
My name is Monte.
Good to meet you, Monte. Where are you from?
I'm in New York City.
New York, you say? You ever been to New York?
54 years and haven't bothered to try it, okay?
It's quite a place. You should visit.
Okay,
So what's your problem?
The only thing that's missing is you, apparently.
I guess so.
So you have a problem for us, or a question?
I do. I've got a question. As my car ages, I have a car with 100,000 miles on it. Is there anything that I can do to increase the waning gas mileage?
What's the car?
It's a Ford Escape Hybrid.
Interesting, and you're seeing lower mileage now.
I am.
Give us, now, what type of driving and what type of numbers are you looking at?
It's a big mix between highway driving and city driving. When I first purchased the vehicle, I was looking at about 29 miles to a gallon. Now I'm down at about the 24 range.
That's kind of interesting because at 100,000 miles, honestly, the car is kind of just broken in. Cars go 200,000 miles pretty easily these days.
My whole fleet.
Yeah, and really the first 10,000 miles, would you say, are break-in miles, and you're not going to get your best mileage there anyway. So to see that you're getting worse mileage now is a little concerning.
Have you had any issues? Check engine light? Have you had any cause to take it into the shop?
I've had zero issues with it. I took it in recently to have it completely, anything that was wrong fixed on it.
Okay.
I fixed a few things, some brakes, things like this, but nothing that has changed the miles, and I've been kind of watching it.
Most cars have a regular maintenance schedule, and 100,000 miles is usually a pretty big, let's do a lot of stuff to the car. Did you take the car in for your 100,000 mile checkup? Did they change the distributor and all the?
There's no distributor.
distributor.
Timing belt is what I'm worried about.
Timing belt and
Yeah.
and what else would they change in a modern car?
Spark
Plug
plugs.
wires and spark plugs and all that stuff.
It's coil on plug, so it
Yep,
would be
Okay.
went through and did all of that.
good. Oh, so you did get the timing belt.
Yes.
That's what I'm very happy about because that's often forgotten. We often see a 15% decrease in fuel economy during the winter, although you had a mild winter as we did, but still we see, and as it comes to spring, we get that back, but nothing like that, just a general decrease in fuel mileage.
Okay.
I don't think anything in the hybrid system's an issue. I just think it's a general, probably the efficiency of the engine. If you have, do you have a regular mechanic?
No.
Okay. It'd be nice to find someone who is a hybrid specialist around you, but we're not, I don't think we're on the hybrid side of this at all. I think we're looking at maybe an oxygen sensor that could be contaminated. Oxygen sensors in theory should last forever, but they don't. We have contaminants from gasoline, from oil. One of the reasons they've taken a lot of the additive package out of our oils is to protect our catalyst and our oxygen sensor. I would like to see the efficiency of your oxygen sensor on an oscilloscope and make a judgment from there. But tire pressure, have you been keeping up on that? Yeah.
Could be the other side. Could be the drag side.
Yeah.
Have been keeping up on the tire pressure, have it aligned, have new tires on there.
Okay.
And you said your brakes have been recently changed.
Recently
So they're
changed,
not
yes.
dragging.
Really? Because what's the one thing about hybrids is we
got the regen systems.
Regen in the hydraulic brakes, the wear brakes come in at the very end. Okay, so that's interesting. Truly, I'm pretty knowledgeable about hybrids in general, but just a simple decrease. You're looking at about a 10%, 15% decrease in fuel economy over that period. May just be gasoline change. It may be you've changed somewhat your driving habits slightly, a little more freeway, a little less city. It's kind of opposite on that car. It does pretty well in the city, and then is more like a non-hybrid car on the highway.
Actually, I drive the car like I'm playing a video game. I'm coasting everywhere that I can. I am engaging the electric motor as often as I can. I just, for me, I try to outdo myself all the time. So I haven't really changed driving habits much.
That's interesting because like a lot of hybrid drivers actually do exactly what you do. They treat it like a challenge. And that makes me think that you're even more aware than a normal driver of exactly what kind of fuel economy that you're getting. I am almost at a loss here. How about you?
The things I would check, that I'm using top tier gasoline, you can check that online, top tier. These are major brands. I don't like it when customers use off brands, save a nickel. They don't have the additive package, and there's a whole list of things, but the detergent package helps. The main controller of your engine is the oxygen sensor and the mass airflow sensor, but you're not having any issues there. But I would take it to someone who's familiar with the Ford system, which is very similar to the Nissan and Toyota system. And I would probably, if I was shooting from the hip and I can't see or smell or touch your car right now, I would go for the oxygen sensor signal and the mass airflow sensor.
So you think it might be like right on the edge before it starts tripping the engine check light?
Well, the check engine light comes on if the car is polluting, and there's a parameters where it has to fall outside of. So the car is running fine, it just hasn't fallen outside there. You might write down the term long-term fuel trim and ask your mechanic if there's a abnormally high long-term fuel trim, and that'll tell you right away that you've got some what we call false air that's getting in that's not measured by the mass airflow, a dirty mass airflow sensor, an oxygen sensor that has become lazy and not as quick to respond as we'd like.
Okay. Cool.
I'd be
That's
very
helpful.
interested in what you find. Now I'm going to have to go look on some forums and see what they say.
Yeah.
And try to find your own mechanic. Dealers aren't the only place to take cars.
Yeah.
Just like a dentist, just like you found your dentist or your doctor, find a good mechanic near you and work with them. And
Yeah.
give them all the business you can.
Yeah. I've had so little business with the car because it's been really
Great.
good to me.
That's good to hear, because we always hear of the Toyota product, but I've found that the Ford product is just fantastic. I've
Yeah.
really enjoyed the Fusion that I've driven.
Yeah. I definitely would pick up another one whenever I am looking to replace, unless, of course, I try to go on the minivan route. And I wanted to ask you guys also, any indication if there's ever a hybrid minivan on its way? I mean, I've heard rumblings about it in Japan, but I have no idea if it's actually...
One might say that the Toyota Prius V.
Prius V is as close as you're going to get right now, although it's really just a 5-door hatchback that's kind of tall. There were rumblings that Chevy or GM would be building a Volt version of the Orlando. The Orlando product got canceled in the U.S., so at this point, nobody's really heard anything. The dark horse in the equation is Chrysler, and they've just announced recently that they're going to kill the Town and Country, but they're keeping the Caravan, and they're going to keep pushing for some more products. So we'll see if that comes to pass. But at this point, there's really no good indication that there's going to be a hybrid minivan on the market.
Okay, with no hybrid minivan in the equation, is there a manufacturer coming out in the near future with an electric car that a woman would actually have sex with me in? Because right now the Volt and the Leaf are not exactly panty poppers.
Tesla.
What was? Yeah, there you go. The
Tesla
Tesla.
Model S, Tesla Roadster, maybe a little bit out of normal human price range, but those are two good ones.
The electric does something there. Thanks for your call,
On that
Malcolm.
note-
And
Thank you for befuddling us with your escape question, by the way. That was a good one. We are going to have to go bone up ourselves.
I have one last thing, though. If you did take trips to Florida, it's all downhill. I looked on a globe, and you'll get much better gas mileage. So try that, okay?
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate the answers.
Thank you.